Hello everyone! Now that 2024 is fully behind us, this is the time for my look back video and also to think about what's come next for 2025. Last year I left you with a pretty grim look back after the breakup and the 2 years that were super hard for me, so 2022 and 2023. I wanted to recenter a lot of things around myself and discover new things about myself, and so 2024 was that, and I did it. It was great. It was very busy, very exhausting year, but it allowed me to do a lot of things that I would have never thought be possible. So here we are. I'm gonna go through all of like the months one by one with my conclusions that I usually do at the end of each month, and discover through everything. I have no script once again, so I just gonna go through it and see what it inspires me. And like now that I'm like 1 year later, it's just like see what's good, what's bad, things I might have not explained. So here we are. All right, let's go. All right, I hope it's not gonna be too long though. On January 2024 was me coming back to VR. I was going back into it a lot. I was socializing a lot because I needed it. I needed it, like a lot of people around me. The breakup was super fresh, and so I also like went back to a tiny bit of mapping, because I wanted to do that for the longest time and I never had the time. So this is where the fire exit came from, like from Lethal Company in VR dancing. It was because I was just inspired to do it. It's kind of a fun meme. I don't know. I like it. On the New Year's Eve, I also had some representation a tiny bit. I had sent some videos. We were in the poster for Slyfest, and like the VR dancing logo was represented in the music venue alleyway. I did the look back. That was pretty grim, but also kind of hopeful for the future. At VR dancing, we had that was actually pretty cool. We had a giveaway from Dance Dash. So they like Rebirth Reality reached out to us and they wanted to have kind of like an event geared toward Dance Dash, and that's what we did. It was pretty flawless. It was a pretty flawless collaboration with them, so I appreciate that. But most importantly, staff meeting once again, as always, every 3 or like 2 months, and I went to dance a lot. I was dancing a lot. So here's representing with Vlav, but like I was streaming quite a bit. Next up was on February. So February, I was like, you know what? I'm like producing so many like videos and stuff like that. Might as well make a TikTok. Branch out, see where it leads. Nowhere. It led nowhere. I got fucking shadow banned on TikTok pretty easily because I don't want to consume. I was just uploading, so they thought I was a bot, I guess. So quickly, I don't get any reach. So this is completely like gone. I don't even like I don't do anything with TikTok anymore. But maybe one day, I don't know. February is also my month anniversary, like my anniversary, my personal anniversary, and also a Twitch anniversary. So I did like a 24-hour stream. This was the highlight of February, and also one of the biggest highlights for the year for me, because that was the first time ever I really celebrated my birthday on the way that I wanted, and I did it by myself. And even though it was kind of weird to like do it alone in my apartment, doing it with a lot of people watching and having this such a successful 24-hour stream was so good. It's probably my best birthday party that I've ever had. Like the one I would always have in my mind. At the end of 24 hours, I was so sleep deprived, I started ranting again, and I went overboard a tiny bit, but it was so good, and I definitely want to do that again. So maybe see you next month. I have no plans whatsoever so far, so we'll see. But yeah, this is good. I danced more, and at VR Dancing, we also announced that we will do another TwitchCon meetup. On 2023, it was in Paris, and this time it was in Rotterdam. So We were expecting more people because it's easier access. It's easier access for most people in VR. On March, actually March was like a month where my stream was pretty good, and I felt kind of bad about like people like subscribing and not having any kind of emotes or like any kind of things to for it. So I did a bunch of emotes, and I still need to do a bunch more. I still have like way more slots I can fill in. But yeah, I did a bunch of emotes. I love them. I use them all the time. The chat disperse so good. That's my typical one. The Prey J was from that time as well. Porter Robinson released an album, so I'm surrounded with Porter Robinson fans. And this is probably the first album that I was really fan of, and I kept like listening nonstop. So I also had like a kind of a freestyle dance to it. It's shoddy, but I don't know. It's just I really liked Porter Robinson. It was very introspective at that time about a lot of aspects in my life, and it really meant a lot. At the end of March, I also released The Village. It's like a dance video I've been thinking about for 2 years now, and it's for celebrating two very important people, at least for VRD, it's like probably the best, like the most meaningful song I've did this year for me, choreo that I did. And there's a lot of subtext to it. There's a lot of subtext, like always. But it's very important. It's a very important song for me, and a very important choreo at the type of the year, because I was working a lot on myself once again, and I was thinking about me a lot. And on more April. Oh god, April was so fucking busy. Okay, April, I danced a lot. Stream were going so well. I danced. I did some desktop gaming as well on my streams. So I was playing Days Gone, recommended by Loomis. I was also starting Yakuza. I know. I still need to do those. I need to play it more. I want to do all the Yakuza games, but it takes so much time. On the VRD side, we opened the collaboration with Ministry, so it allows more opportunities for dancers to dance on stage in VR chat. But I was also traveling. That's my first travel in April. I went to the Netherlands to meet up some people. Luxfinity was in Europe, so it was a good time to see the guy, and it was a very fun time. It was like a big break in the year where it was like, okay, reconnecting with people, actually, because that's what I really strive for. VR is great. VR is great for friendships and like meeting people, but then afterwards, I don't know. I always like kind of want to branch out to the IRL, and this year was definitely that. And that was the first trip for that. It was great. A lot of people to meet. On the VRD side, I introduced 2 new staff members, so Venmo and the Amber Fox, and there are still staff to this day, and there's like multiple new staff members this year that came up. At the end of April, my PC died, so EAC fucking crashes, like it blue screen my PC all the time, so I couldn't play VR chat, and it stopped a lot of my project, a lot of like VR chat things I've done, I was working on, and it took so long to get fixed, and it's just I need to do a full reinstall. It was hell, but in May, that still like forced me into doing a lot of IRL stuff. I went back to hiking, personal stuff, taking care of myself. The goal was that, and not to be like always in VR chat and always streaming. I was trying to balance it out, and it was great because the PC was dead, so I was forced by it as well. But also, May was the startup of the protest season in France again, of course. A lot of things happened at the beginning of the year. There was like a lot of anti-trans legislations that people were protesting against. Of course, the genocide in Palestine. So like a lot of things happen outside. So I was basically focused on that, and I was not streaming that much already. But like the only like VR thing I did like at that time was introducing two new staff member, which were Arigold and Cooper, because we were catching up. 2023 were like a lot of people left, a lot of staff members left after 2023. So just like I need to replenish, and we worked really hard to get like more and more new blood in the team. On June, all right, June is where everything starts to go to shit. So in France, like during Pride and stuff like that, at the end of June, I mean toward the middle of June, the far right won an election in France, the European election, and Macron, in this freaking dumbass idea, just thought about doing a snap election to give away the country to fascists, basically. So I completely kind of disappeared from VR at that point. I mostly spent my time doing activist shit outside, taking part into groups where we can try to sway the election the best way we could, get people to go out and vote in marginalized areas. We were like sticking stuff, flyers, etc. So I was a lot outside, and I was also working with like my union. So the VR stuff was kind of put on hold. The only thing that we announced was at that time Manchathon. We actually announced the actual date of it, finishing up the TwitchCon goals, because TwitchCon was happening like at the end of June and beginning of July. And I also got in contact with like the Just Dance community, Just Dance streamer community that wanted to do an IRL dance event stream thingy, and it was dope. So with like June being filled with like activist stuff, at the end of June, when leaving for TwitchCon, it felt like a tiny bit like I were fleeing the country from like all the bullshit. I was done. I was so mad at the country. I was so mad at everything, and this was like kind of a leisure where I was like, all right, fuck it. This is the summer. I'm going out. I'm traveling. I'm going to TwitchCon, and then I'm going to travel around and meet up a lot of people in Europe for 1 month, and I'm not gonna think about it. I mean, it's kind of fleeing, but at this point, like the snap election was done already. So, at the end of the day, the job was done, and I wanted out, and it was great because in July I spent my whole July traveling, road tripping around Europe with like bus drives. We were TwitchCon. TwitchCon was great. And we were like the I'll Just Dance stream, where some of y'all actually saw me with my interesting outfit. I'm doing it again this year though, so maybe I'm gonna improve on it actually. So fuck it, let's go. And on the VRD side of things, we released like an old interview we recorded about why do I do the things I do for VR dancing. And there you go. On August, I came back home, and that was the time where we needed to work on Manchathon. That's right. So last staff meeting before Manchathon, organizing everything. The team was so good this year at Manchathon. It was perfect. Like, it was the best year we ever had. Not a lot of stress. I mean, there was some stressful moment, but it was like way more manageable than any other years. So it's really good to see how better we get at this. And also, we raised the most amount of money that we ever raised for the Trevor project. So it's kind of crazy. 14,169 cents. It's wild. It's bonkers for an event that is like 30 hours, and that is just our small community, VR chat community. It's lovely how like you see like people dancing and donating in the same moment just to mess up with like people on the dance floor. um, and this is so good. 2024 was a good thing also for me to focus on myself because Life Fest didn't happen this year. It was in hiatus. So instead, as you can see, I just released like some footage of 2023 I had recorded and took it like made it like a small like clip compilation. And probably one of the best thing about this year is like I was free to do some stuff and discover myself, like with Snipefest being at the right moment on pause. So yeah, on September, the comeback to militant stuff, activist stuff. So we won the election. It's like the election that brought the most like marginalized people to vote that usually don't vote, young people, people in the suburbs, and we won. Like like the left actually won. It was like not an absolute win, but it was like a respectable win. That means that the left was on top of everything. So the fascists got fucking yeeted, but because of how constitutions work here, Macron is still allowed to say no. The left won. You got your places in the parliament, but I'm not gonna give you a government, and I'm gonna give you a very like right reactionary government. So that was bad. That was so bad because we worked so hard, and it was like a very exhausting summer for a lot of people in the activist community. That we are living into like a political crisis, and it hasn't stopped. Still, like right now, it's still bad. It's like it's so shoddy and so bad. Yeah. But on September, I also like, released one meme that most people really enjoyed. Is the girly girl. I love this meme as well. So that was the highlight of September, I guess, for me. TwitchCon 2025 was announced, so it's already locked in my calendar, and also I started to play them random like small games, small like cozy games on stream when I was not on the streets protesting. In October was busy as fuck. Everyone got so fucking fed up IRL that nothing really happened in October anymore. It was the end of the protest seasons, and people were exhausted about this year. And so I went back to VR chat a lot. It allowed me to get back into it, and I started the thing I really want to do, and it is radicalizing people, doing the propaganda I am doing. Hi. No, but like seriously, I am a political being. Everything that I do is political, and I've been always lacking in VR chat the connection with politics from like the people that are using VR chat. And so I want to kind of bring this into it with making my own kind of thing. And my own thing is political commentary / like documentaries, watching like watch parties in VR chat. And the first one was for quote unquote celebrating, or not celebrating that, but the 1 year genocide of Gaza and like Palestinians. And so I offered to watch 2 documentaries, one from 2019, so before October 7. Wow, that's crazy. History didn't happen at October 7. And one from 2024 that just released, that basically documented like every war crime from the last year of in Gaza from the Israeli army. And so yeah, that was the first watching of it, and I'm definitely wanting to do another one. I'm gonna probably continue more of those. And yeah, with my fucking political brain as well, I got in contact with um, with interviewer, and interviewer was making a research paper, reading a research paper about VR chat, what it means, the political utopia that I personally see in it. And so my commentary about this topic was published by him in a paper in German. So I can't read German, but as far as I understand it, it's pretty good. It's pretty. We talked for so long, and yeah, how the collective organization of VR chat and the completely abolition of gender that it offers, like a lot of those things that could prospects could like change in real life from VR chat. And this is like kind of the paper that released on this. Staff meeting continued, and I was streaming. I got a tiny bit back into like dancing stream as well. In November, November was the second time where politics just went bad, and by that I mean Trump won. Trump won. I got very mad at the world. I was not expecting that. In 2016, I completely expected Trump to win. This year, that's fucked up. I didn't really expect it at all. And when I saw the election, I was so mad, and especially now that I like know like some people that are like marginalized in the US, it really hurts. But at the very least, like some friend stopped by here, and I showed them like the region and also Paris. Unfortunately, I mean, people really want to see Paris, so might as well do. But it's not a great city in my opinion. But yeah, we traveled around. It was a good way to put my mind out of it. But yes, that was like a lot of moment where I'm like, France went bad. Germany went bad this year as well. Like every country are going so bad. I got so mad at like all the Christo-fascist bullshit. So I released Lights Out. That's where I released this song. This was kind of on a whim. It was not like The Village, where I was thinking about it for 2 years. No, it was just like I was so mad. I put that together in like, I don't know, 1 week, and I just yeah, it's literally a song about me being super mad about like the fascists that are getting some traction a lot everywhere in the world. But on the bright night, on the good note, at the end of the month, I introduced 3 new staff members to VR Dancing: Qpux, Bimler, and Dragon CASCC0. So Dragon, and yeah, it went well. They're like super active at this time already, and they just hosted their first like their first hosting session like this weekend. So it's really good. On December, VR Dancing collaborated with VRCA, so the VR Community Awards. So Puck reached out to me and at the beginning of the year to work on this, and since we had like so much shit going on at VR Dancing, I pushed it back after Morshophon, and here we are publishing it and saying, hey, go and vote for it. And a lot of actually people of y'all did it. It's a very successful like voting first phase, and second phase I don't know yet. I don't have the statistic, especially since VR Dancing actually ended up being like one of the nominated like communities. It's insane. We are nominated for our Morshophon event, and we are nominated for the community as a whole. And this is insane because this is a popularity context. Really, it's like it's a lot about the popularity, and in there's like way bigger community than us, and I really didn't expect it, and I love that. And I mean, knock on wood, we get some winnings, we win something. I hope you voted. If you haven't, well, it's too late now. I was still a bit active IRL. I was going to any protest I could because it's good for my mental health, like to think about, okay, I'm not alone in this, when you go on the street, you see a lot of people. You're like, okay, all right, I'm not alone. Then being scared about the future, and it's also a good opportunity to meet up with people and just like think about the future and how we can organize and survive from those coming years. December is also the year of stats. I love stats, so I'm gonna probably like show a bit statistics here from this year. So like the YouTube, yeah, and the Twitch. But like the statistic, I love stats, and this Twitch statistic, I look back, I didn't expect to be that good. I didn't think I streamed that much. 99 stream in 1 year. That's kind of crazy, especially since like I was away from so much, and I didn't do as much as I wanted. But it is what it is. On VRD, we had like the end of year video that just came out. I continued dancing a tiny bit. I also was heavily represented in the VRChat New Year's Eve events, even though, as you may have like realized in this whole time, like I didn't really hang out in VRChat that much this year. It was mostly RL, and it was good for me to get back into VRChat this last week, and just like reconnect with people I haven't talked in like 2 or 3 years, and also like seeing all of my work like, being represented into the world. So like the videos I sent, like I don't know, 5 videos or were accepted. I had my logo in the music venue because I work in like music communities. VR Dancing's poster was shown. It was great. It was a good hangout. Usually I always have like an IRL thing to do for New Year, and this time I didn't, so I went fully in VR, and that was great. And that's about it. That's the whole year, and as I mentioned, it was a very busy year. It was extremely busy. At the end of the day, I had like I got involved more into my union. I'm an elected member there, so it takes some time. I have a full-time job, of course, still. No, that hasn't changed. I managed VR dancing, but it was like okay-ish. I was able to really like being like hands off way more, especially with my traveling and meeting people IRL. So like VR dancing is like pretty freaking sustainable at this time. We're still overlooking it, like making sure everything works, and like any time that people have questions or like there's issues between people, I'm still here. But it's pretty much like going by itself, and so it's really great to see the production team this year was insane. So Lux, Atyrian, and Nihilist were producing so much. It felt like a very productive year for like on the VRD side, without the hassle to be always like overlooking everyone. It's like everyone just like did its thing, and it worked pretty well. There's a lot of things in 2025 where I need to get involved into in VRChat, so I have to balance out what I'm gonna keep IRL, what I'm gonna keep in VR. It's gonna be very scary year for me. It's probably gonna be like super filled with a lot of things, but in a good way. I really look forward for it, and I kind of know more of my limits, and I'm more ready now than I was back at like the beginning of VR dancing, for example. I have learned a lot of things about myself. I work on a lot of things, and it's I look forward to this year. I definitely want to go back to mapping. I also definitely want to host more and more like sessions of political sessions with people that might be interested in, because I think it's very important at this time to learn about it all. There's so much things to do, so much things to fix, and any kind of person that wants to learn, I'm learning at the same time, are welcome. And so for that reason, for example, this month on the 19th of January, I will host like a documentary from Noam Chomsky, to talk about how democracies are right now, why it's a system that is not so great, and why we should do stuff about it. And why the 19th of January? Because it's right the day before Trump get into office. So if you want to check that out, lock it into your calendar. It's a Sunday, and we'll have that. This also makes me go back to like mapping, because I'm going back to mapping for this kind of events. Anyway, 2025 is gonna be big. There's a lot of things happening. I'm already like way more into VR again. IRL, I don't know if like IRL stuff is gonna change much. I definitely want to go to TwitchCon this year. Might be traveling a tiny bit, but considering how many projects I have on the fire right now, it's gonna be probably a bit tough. I definitely want to meet more people IRL again still, and yeah. So if you're going to TwitchCon, do it. Do it. Do it. And I'm saying that to Snow. I know Snow Totem is super scared to meet me. Snow, if you watch this, that's it. I won. You need to go to TwitchCon now. Anyway, thank you so much for everyone that was around me this year. I blew up in the DMs of few people's in like my way to think about myself. So for everyone that were around me in like hard step of my life this year, thank you so much. It really means a lot, and I wouldn't have been able to do anything without y'all in my DMs that can keep me sane and think about myself. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the people that know who they are. Hopefully it's gonna be a good year. Hopefully it's gonna be a good year for you as well. On that note, thank you so much. See you in 2025. Hopefully I'm gonna stream more, even though I haven't done that much lately. But yeah, a little more. Twitter. Nah, what am I kidding? Everyone switched to Blue Sky this year. I'm mostly on Blue Sky. I get way more traction on Blue Sky. Twitter, I'm like shadow banned. So you know, there it is. But you can still follow me there. I cross posts. Yeah, Discord. My Discord. That's like where you can get all the information, and when I can shit post about my things, and you can see a tiny bit more about like the political sides, because I have a political channel in there where you can only talk about leftist shit. So yeah, if you want to go and follow me on those kind of things, feel free. But hey, thank you so much, and hope you'll get a good year. Take care. Have a good one. This recap is so messy. I went into so many tangents. It's kind of funny, but hopefully it makes sense. I don't know. At least it does for me. All right, take care. Really, that's the last one.